Hello again, Internet. Time to learn how to prime miniatures. Now, we just got our Stormcast Eternal completely assembled and ready to go. Now it's time for actual priming. Priming is a very important step when it comes to painting miniatures. Has a couple different purposes. First off, it allows us, it creates a base color for the miniature itself. Most paints designed for miniatures are acrylic. They have an element of transparency to them no matter how many coats you put on. If you put enough coats to get rid of that transparency, you're eating up a lot of detail in the model, not something you want to do. So this will give you a nice baseline color to work off of and build up from. Second, paint does not like forming a bond to bare high-impact polystyrene or resin. If you get white metal miniatures, they're really bad about doing that. So this is going to give you a good coat for that paint to stick. Now you want to do it in a well-ventilated area. You notice we're outside in sunny Orlando, Florida, where it's extremely hot in the summer. Don't want to do it if it's too humid, but I'm going to break my own rules here to make sure you know what you're doing. Now, Miniatures Primer is made with a finer particulate and than spray paint, and they're very careful about the accelerants used. Accelerants have a bad habit of melting plastic. If you do insist on using an off-brand primer, make sure to test some of it on a set of sprues. I had a good old buddy of mine in the Navy. He had a beautifully modeled squad of Khorne Berserkers. He spent hours making these guys in individual poses, breaking them apart, re-gluing them together, used an off-brand primer, came back 2 hours later, and he had a dozen little piles of melted plastic. This can destroy your hard work. I recommend just going with the stuff you get at your game store. I'm all about saving money. This is not a place to skimp on. Personally, I like the Formula P3 primer from Privateer Press. I like the way it bonds. It also has a little nozzle that gives you a line rather than a spot. This makes it much easier to undercoat. So first we're going to give it a good shake. And then you're going to want to hold your primer back away from the miniature, but not so far away that you're not getting it. Now, I always put my miniatures on something to help protect. It's on top of a garbage can, but we'll get to why it's on a little piece of wood. Very simple. You want a good, generous coat. A lot of people will tell you need to be 18 inches away to not eat up detail. That's bull. You can be a lot closer. 18 inches away is a good way to waste primer. Now, I will frequently hold this up and rotate the miniature to get a good, solid coat. Spray from the top. Then you want to sit down, wait a few minutes for it to dry. I'm going to break my own rules so I can show you. Now, you're going to want to flip it down and spray it from another angle to make sure you get all of the underneathy bits. Guys like this with big old shields will frequently have quite a few of those. Some guys you can't get in. We'll talk about sub-assemblies on a later day. So now, we have a nice black undercoated Sigmarite ready to be painted. And that, my friends, is how you prime.